It's a new year, and that means new movies.
Hell yeah!
Specifically, horror movies. 2025 brought us some great scares with movies like Final Destination Bloodlines, Weapons, and Bring Her Back. But 2026 doesn't look to be slowing down. Here's the horror movies I'm the most excited for. Evil Dead Burn. Now, when I heard another Evil Dead movie was releasing this year in 2026, I was very excited. I personally really love Evil Dead Rise, which was directed by Lee Cronin in 2023. It was by far my favorite horror film from that year. Like, it had to be, in my opinion, the best horror movie of 2023. And though I wanted to see what happened to the aunt and the daughter who survived at the end of the film, from my understanding, there will be no relationship between the ending of Rise and Burn. There's no continuation. So I'm very interested to see like how that's going to work. I don't know, maybe an Easter egg or something. There hasn't been a trailer that has released yet. If I had to guess, I'd probably say maybe late March, early April. I just don't see them waiting too close to that July date to release the trailer. So I guess we'll see. But we do have some updates for the project. Many speculative synopses mention potential settings such as a burning hospital, a burning forest, and our protagonist trying to survive in a small town run with deadites. And I mean, looking at the title, that can easily be inferred, right? Now, what we do know for sure, like 100%, is that this entry features a French protagonist. The release date is slated for July 24th, and again, this will be a standalone story. The director, Sebastian Vanasek, describes the film as brutal survival designed to be more visceral than gory. And man, let me say, after hearing that from the director, that just made my excitement go straight through the roof. Not to mention Sam Raimi will also be producing. So all the more reason to be very, very excited for this film. Other Mommy. This movie really piqued my interest as there's not a lot of people talking about it. To be fair, there isn't a trailer out yet, but the premise alone does have potential. Not to mention it's attached to two big names in the horror world. James Wan, who produced and directed many popular horror movies such as Saw and The Conjuring, and Arthur Josh Mellerman, who wrote Bird Box, which was later adapted into the hit Netflix movie. The synopsis for Other Mommy reads as follows. An 8-year-old girl is haunted by a sinister entity she calls Other Mommy, which threatens her family. Now, this synopsis gets me really hyped, man, as it kind of sounds like a much darker Caroline, maybe even mixed with the other horror film Mama. It's being directed by Rob Savage and stars Jessica Chastain and Jay Duplass. James Wan is producing, and it was based on Josh Mellerman's book, Incidents Around the House. I honestly can't wait to see the trailer for this movie. This movie was originally slated for a May 8th release date, but has now been pushed back to October 9th. This honestly gives me way, way, way more hope for this film that it will do good in theaters. Resident Evil. I kind of tried to do the voice there. You guys comment if that sounded accurate. The popular horror action video game that has been adapted into movies multiple times, this time around will be directed by Zach Kreger, who has really been on a roll so far in the 2020s with horror films Barbarian and Weapons. This 2026 rendition is set to go back to the horror roots of the games, focusing on a single protagonist's journey through Raccoon City, and has been described as a roller coaster with a big budget. The movie stars Paul Walter Hauser, Zach Cherry, Callie Reese, and notably Austin Abrams, who starred in Zach's previous film, Weapons. I really do have high expectations for this film, only because I really want a good Resident Evil movie. The 2000s one was good in a campy way, and the TV show was a show.
What the fuck?
I love the Res games and have played 5 through 8, and I really do believe Zach Kreger will do a good job, as he's great at picking good cinematographers and creating creepy atmospheres, which give that impending doom feeling, which is exactly what you need for a Resident Evil movie. With the big budget he was given and the green light to basically adapt Resident Evil in any way he likes from Sony, this movie, whether it does amazing or just okay, will entirely fall on his shoulders. We will see on September 18th. The Third Parent. A supernatural horror film based on the viral creepypasta series by Elias Withrow and directed by David Michaels. The plot follows a menacing figure named Tommy Taffy, who infiltrates a suburban family disguised as a human during a 4th of July celebration to impose an authoritarian rule. You know, if I had a nickel for every horror movie being released in 2026 about a supernatural parental figures, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's interesting it happened twice. But in all seriousness, I like the plot. Rob Lowe, Rosalind Sanchez, Raphael de Beligny, and Crispin Glover are all set to star, with Crispin Glover playing the titular Tommy Taffy. This plot to me is very intriguing, and it kind of reminds me of the game No, I'm Not Human. Now, obviously, this movie is based on the creepypasta with the same name, and I'm very curious to see how it does in theaters, as creepypasta adaptations have been mainly misses. Channel 0 not included. Either way, I'll be in theaters when it releases August 7th, 2026. Insidious 6, The Bleeding World. This movie's details are under wraps tight, which is good because it makes me very excited for the trailer. It's scheduled to be released on August 21st, 2026, and will be directed by Jacob Chase, who directed one of my personal favorite horror movies, Come Play. The little we do know is that it's being filmed in Australia and will star Amelia Eve, Brandon Pereira, and the return of franchise legend Lynn Shay as Elise Rayner. The movie's rumored synopsis follows a new family in a quiet suburb being targeted by burglars who force the family into the astral plane known as the Further. There they discover the Further is bleeding into the real world. If true, this is crazy. It has me thrilled for the potential scares they could cook up given the stakes are way, way greater. Now, I expected the Further to play a huge part, but I'm not quite sure on what capacity Lynn Shay will be in the film, being that she canonically died in Insidious 2. She did appear as a ghost-like figure in the Red Door, but it was only for a few minutes. It's like, how would that work here? Either way, I can't wait to see it. Werewolf. Directed by the illustrious Robert Eggers, the film stars Aaron Taylor Johnson as a werewolf and Lily Rose Depp as his wife in 13th century England. I don't even have to say too much. It's Robert Eggers. The guy's really got an impressive resume when it comes to horror. I enjoyed Nosferatu, and when I heard he was making a werewolf movie, it honestly just made sense. Now, I have seen a couple of leaked set photos, and I can already tell it's going to be fire. I am really curious to see what his werewolf design will look like. Hopefully not just a big wolf like Twilight, but I obviously trust Robert. Werewolf is set to release on Christmas Day, December 25th. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my video, and definitely be sure to comment down below any horror movies you might be excited for, and you let me know if one of your horror movies you're excited for is on my list. Anyways, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all of those fine things to get my video out into the algorithm, and I'll see you guys again next week. Thanks for watching.